have teachers, primary school teachers, we have secondary school teachers in our midst. Thank you so much for joining this call once again. And now we'll be starting this with just as you have joined, we'll be starting the first lecture, and that will be taken by no other person. I'm sure you already know him, but once he come on board, know that we have our great speakers for this session this morning. And in person of Mr. Odusanya Olalekan, he is our
addition from
director.
Oh, yeah,
Mute your microphone. Cardi. Kindly mute your microphone.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Now I will be inviting Mr. Odusanya Olalekan for his first lecture, and before then I would be sharing his profile so that you can know who our speaker is for today. Kindly give me a few minutes to do that. Kindly give me a few minutes to share that. I'm coming. While I'm doing that, we welcome everybody for joining this session, the Professional Development Webinar, irrespective of where we are joining from. Can you see my screen? I'm coming. I'm trying to share. I'm trying to share. Please, once you can see my screen, kindly inform me about that. All right. Can you see my screen? Can you see anything now? Not yet. Oh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, our first speaker for today is in person of Mr. Odusanya Olalekan, and I will be reading his profile. Odusanya Olalekan Adiola is the CEO of Emerald Group, a budding establishment with various conglomerates: Emerald Edu Concept, Emerald Consulting, Emerald Foundation, Emerald Educational Services, Emerald Global Investments, a teacher of excellent delivery and experience working with various schools and edu organizations over the past 5 years. He is a multi-portfolio social innovator, heading various youth groups across Africa. He is the team lead, 3D Africa, a Pan-African youth organization focused on innovation, impact, and influence as the driving force for youth engagement, with the aim of making them become globally relevant and significant in their endeavors. He's also the team lead for Top Notch Writers Organization, a student organization focused on communication. He is the high-rank leader in the Achievers Gathering, TAG, and a Edu Planner and organization advocacy group in Nigeria. As a passionate SDG advocate and community developer, he founded the Project Engage, the community where he meets with youth at the grassroots level with strategic aim of community development, personal growth, and responsible citizenship. He also engaged students at the community level through his annual school tour, where he strongly motivated academic quality learning, purpose discovery, and maximization and self-development. On this note, I want you to give a resounding applause on the chat box for our first speaker today in person of Mr. Odusanya Olalekan. Kindly me on the chat box. I want to see it in the sounding clap on the chat box. I want to see it. I want to see it on the chat box. Welcoming our guest speaker for today in person of Mr. Odusanya Olalekan. Thank you, Ashwaju Bolaji. Thank you so much, Jawad. Thank you. On this note, I will be inviting our first speaker for today. You have the floor, sir.
I hope everyone can hear me now.
Am I clear?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes, loud and
Of
clear.
course, you
Loud
can
and clear.
see me. Okay, thank you. Good
Yes,
morning,
yes, sir.
educators. I'm always excited to be among educators. It is a wonderful thing. Of course, that profile that was shared was a profile of 5 years ago. I didn't know where we got that one from, but of course, it's okay. And that's what I still do. By the grace of God, at Emerald Edu Concept, we have been able to do a whole lot of things for teachers. And today, again, we are looking at professional development for teachers. My own presentation is going to be very short. Some of my bosses will be coming up on board. The best teacher in Nigeria will be coming up by 11 o'clock. So mine will just be short. Now, what we are about to look at today is just an introduction, is a course or a program I designed for teachers. I also designed for final year students of education, helping them to see how they can increase their market value. But it's relevant to today's webinar because, of course, this is July. By July ending, we vacate. And of course, by end of July, August, thereabout, schools should start recruiting again. Let me quickly share this story of a lady. I think she applied for one of my course. I think she listened to this course, and then of course applied for one of our programs, if I can remember very well. And I told her something. She said she has always dreamed of becoming a better educator, and of course she wants to be a sought after educator. That she wants schools to be looking. Of course, she has heard my story. I'll still share my story. And I said, and I told her two things. And those are the two facts that I want to start with on that premises. Number one fact, you can take it to that slide. Ahmed, you can take it to that slide. The facts. Okay, you can take it to the slide. Thank you. Number one fact that I remember I told her is every profession has a market demand. Every profession has a market demand. What does that mean? That means that as teachers, there is a market demand. There are demands for teachers. In fact, in this 21st century, the demands for teachers are even so much based on the statistics. We have more than 20 million out of schools children. We have a lot of new schools that are coming up every single day. And then, of course, UNESCO has said that we want to get a lot of children out of schools, and then we want them to, you want them to be in the class. And then every now and then, the quality of education has started increasing. And a lot of high-profile schools are looking for capable educators to man their schools. So there is huge market demand. Whether you know it, you are aware of it or not, every profession has a market demand. The demand determines the price. The demand determines the price. So every profession has its own market demand. Whether you are a teacher, whether you are a musician, there is a market demand for it. There is always constant, and people are demanding for better quality services. The number two thing I remember I told her was that every professional has a market value. Every professional has a market value. That means that as a teacher, there is a market value on you, whether you are aware of it or not. The first time I Mr. Make sure you mute everybody so that people can listen. Okay, now every professional has a market value. The first time I discovered this, I remember I was talking to one director. Then later on, I discussed with the Commissioner for Education, Lagos State. Then, okay, I think she's still Mrs. Folashade. So he mentioned something. She said most teachers do that everybody has grade. Every teacher has their grade. And of course, I have categorized teachers into 7 levels. Number 1, we have the A-star teachers. The A-star teachers. Those are highly accomplished teachers. They have seen it all. Of course, they still want more, but they have seen it all. When it comes to global recognition, when it comes to national, the state recognition, when it comes to partnership, when it comes to relevance, when it comes to significance in the education space, as far as Nigeria, as far as the world is concerned, they have seen it all. Those are A-star teachers. And of course, those ones, the market value on them is high. They have a very high market value. Then you have the A-list teachers, the A teachers. I call them the A teachers. They are excellent teachers. They are highly professional as well. But of course, they are still aiming to be A-star. People that they can look up to. Of course, under the A-star now, you talk about Akim Subal, you talk of Keisha Top, you talk of and others like that. Most of these people are my professional mentors. Okay, of course, we have the A teachers that are highly professional. We have the B teachers. I call them great teachers. They are learning every day. They are great in delivery. They are highly recognized as well. But of course, they are still striving. We have the C teachers. These are average teachers. They are just trying to come up. They are just trying to come up, and of course, they are finding their roots in the education space. They are neither bad or they are neither poor, and they are still not good where they should be. So these are C teachers. Then we have the D, the E, and the F. These are below par, and of course, we have them in the education space. If you are not going to deceive ourselves, so now each of this level has its own market value. Let me now share my story. There was a time I was also sharing with that lady. I'm using that lady because we later on, she later got a job, and the job was paying her around 250,000, a teaching job. I shared a story of my story. Of course, I am in a particular place by virtue of my choice. I've had opportunity to have work in Lagos, in Abuja, and I said, okay, I don't want to stay in this area. I want to hide for some time. I said, when I came to an environment like this, and that environment is not even the state capital in Ekiti, I said, one of the things I told teachers there is that I can never the least I told one of the teachers, the least I can get is this social amount, over 150,000, 200,000 rather. Now, and they said, I was discovering one of the friends, and he said, is it possible in this kind of area that we are? It's not a state. I know my value. I know my worth. This is what I can get less. It's not more than monetary value, but I said this. I'm a premium teacher. I'm an A-star teacher. So I said this is my value, and I asked. I remember someone was laughing that I bet you cannot. Less than I said, because of the level of what's it called here, I was not going to be a full-time teacher. I decided I was going to part-time, and a lot of schools. I have over 15 schools that wanted me then, and they were like, okay, we need you, your service, we need you here, we need you here. It got to a point I needed to start choosing based on my choice. Later on, I decided to work. Somebody called me, one of the proprietors called me and said, Mr. Adiola, we know you are a global teacher. We see your post, we see everything that you do and other things like that. But I want you to work with my school, not because you want to work as a teacher alone, but you want to stand as a motivator to some of these teachers. I want them to become like you. And I said, wow. And I said, do you know my market price? This is what, can you afford it? And the woman said, before she could approach me, she knew that I'm extremely costly, and this is what she has prepared everything necessary. And I said, wow, in this local area, I was happy then. And I shared it with that lady. I said, I have understand this from the beginning when I started this profession, that every professional has a market value. So the question is, do you know your market value? Do you know your worth? Now, some of the persons that take some of these programs that I do, I usually ask them this question. And I'm going to ask us again. I want us to put it in the comment box. Now, just tell me, what is your value? Now, I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in two contexts. What level or what category of teacher are you? A star, A, B, C, and last. I want you to be honest. Just put it somewhere there. It's going to be interactive. It's a very short session. I'm just having just 20 minutes. Now, then can you tell me, what do you worth in the education market as at this moment? Irrespective of whatever you are getting as salary as at now. I want us to be very sincere. I usually do this. I usually do this for people that are paid for some of this training. Why? Because I know some of us might be shy, but those ones is always an interactive. They pay for it, so I want to coach them. So they are not supposed to be shy, but I know some of us might be shy. But I want you to be very, very what's it called? Be very sincere with yourself. So your level, and then if you have to get a salary, irrespective of what you are getting now, what is your worth as at the moment? Just give me the range. Don't give exact value. Give us the range so that you won't be people. I want people, as much as people, to respond. So I'm giving you just 1 minute. Let's respond to that. So while I talk about Ahmed.
In the evening, 7 o'clock.
Ahmed, please try as much as possible. Let me put it as strategic framework to increase your market value. My session is very short, and I want to maximize. Somebody said 700K. Please let it come. I'm waiting. Now, the reason why, as a man, how much you are worth. The reason why I'm asking this. Now, most of us do not understand this concept, and it has been one of the. I usually read a lot of posts. I see a lot of platforms where they say, I am being paid 20,000, I am being paid 10,000 naira, and I said, oh my God, these people do not know their worth. Now, you don't have to place, another caution is this, you don't have to place a lot of value on yourself if you know you have not worked up to that point. And I'll be sharing the framework now. I'll be sharing the strategic framework. Okay, so now when you understand the level that you are now, the level that you are, whether you are A star, of course, for you to be A star, that means you are globally recognized. You are globally recognized. You are nationally acknowledged. You are an accomplished educator. For you to be A, that means to some extent there's high level of recognition that you have garnered. There's high level of accomplishment. There's high level of recommendation that have been given to you for you to be A. For you to be B, that means your visibility is also high. You have started to grow, and people have started to know you as an educator. And of course, some of the work that you do, you are speaking. So now, why do we need to know all of these things? When I started the teaching work some years back, and I said, I want to know, okay, this is the level. As at that time, I was an average teacher because I do believe that I'm a born teacher. It's part of me from the beginning. Okay, and I said I'm an average teacher, and I gave myself a target. I wrote it out. What are the characteristics of a B level teacher? What are the characteristics of an A level teacher? What are the characteristics of an A star teacher? I wrote them down. What can we see that tell us that this is a B level teacher, a B level teacher, and the likes? I wrote them out. Again, I also wrote out what are some of the things that will be required of me for me to move the ladder. I set up a target. I said, in the next 10 years, I want to be an A star. I'm globally recognized. I want to have done this. I want to have done this. I want to have done this and the likes. I wrote everything down and I started the journey. And so this is some of the things. If you're not going to get anything, this is one of the things that you're going to. This is one of the things that you're going to get. I want you to start on these two things that I have said. Know the level that you are and make a framework for you to move from that level to another level. Set goals for you to move to the top. In my own scenario now, I have given myself between 5 to 7 years. I have said between 5 to 7 years now, I want to be an A-star teacher, globally recognized. And I'm thinking out the projects that I will do, the activities that I will do, the trainings that I will take, the knowledge that I will acquire, the skill, the networking experience, the global fellowship, and everything that I will do. So, number one thing that you need to do is that know that level and make sure that you are working towards it. That's number. Review it every 6 months, review it every year, and say, okay, this year I want to move this ladder. That's number one. Number two is that know how much you are worth, your market value. It is highly important. It is when you say you are worth between 50 to 100,000, you are not placing a limit on yourself, but you are evaluating yourself so that you can prepare better, so that you can become better, so that you can say, okay, if I am worth 50,000 now, what can I do to be worth 500,000? A lot of teachers do not think about it. These are some of the things that give you edge over others. It gives you edge over others. Now, I will quickly share with you some of the strategic framework. Like I said, this lecture I'm giving you is a course on its own that I created. And I have the video, I have the workbook, and I work with people on that. Later on, I will share with you how you can subscribe for this particular course if you want to. I usually work with teachers that want to move the cadre and I want to increase their market value. And of course, that lady that I've said did, and of course, I'm happy that she got result. Now, number one, to increase your market value, change your perception. I'm going to be very fast. I won't dwell much on each of them because of time. Change your perception. Most of the time, I did research during my video, the original video for the market value that I did. I did a research, and I was asking teachers, do you find yourself happy to be here? More than 80% of teachers said it was accidental they were in the teaching profession, number one. And then how do they see the teaching profession? More than 80% again said teaching is just a suffering what's it called, for the poor. It does not really count in Nigeria. And I said, yeah, this is a problem. When you have this kind of mentality that this is how teaching is, you will never be able to make it in that profession. Because what you see is what you become. What you see is what you become. So one of the things that we need to start doing is to change perception. I have in some of the conferences or programs that I've been invited to, I have said is that the first thing that will radicalize and transform the teaching profession is the change of perception. That's the first thing. When every teacher believes that they are the best, out of every profession, they stand tall. When you believe as a teacher that you are the best, that you are better than every other profession, the level of self-esteem, self-confidence, and the work that you place upon yourself will increase. That's the first thing. Number two, because of time, is brand and rebrand yourself. Now, one of the things I usually tell teachers is this. One of the things I usually tell teachers is this. Branding is people's perception about you. Most teachers are ill-branded. In fact, most teachers, of course, in branding parlance, we said, whether you know it or not, you have a brand. Whatever you do, you are a brand on your own, whether you are aware of it or not. But I've discovered that most teachers are not aware that they are a brand. So as an individual, as a professional, you are a brand. And as such, you need to brand yourself. Most of the time, when I work with teachers in this kind of training, I usually ask them, give me the links to your social media handles. And when I get here, I said, I noticed that the social media handles are empty. The teachers do not stand for anything. Nobody can say, okay, when you're talking about okay, for instance, for you to know whether you have a brand, perception or not, just ask people, who do people take me to be? In the Bible, sorry to use that. In the Bible, there usually was it called? There usually a passage that I love so much, where Jesus said, "Who do people take me to be?" Is a question of branding. Jesus wanted to know that, okay, this is what people are perceiving me. That's brand. So what people feel that you are, what people know that you are, what people perceive you to be, that is your brand. And it is an intentional thing. You must begin to work in such a way that both online and offline, such a way that when your name pops up, people can say this. When you hear the word Emerald, one of the things that you hear is consulting, coaching, and helping teachers. I have created that brand over a very, very lot of time. And then you check my social media and you see something related to that. So it's a challenge to everyone. Go and brand yourself. If you have brand yourself, you can still rebrand yourself. It is that branding that gives perception about who you are. And it is the perception that people have you to be. And that is the value that they have for you. Your value starts from the brand that you have, your branding. Number 3, I won't go much on that. Of course, some of the people that work with me, one of the things I usually tell them to do is their vision, their mission, their core values, and then they structure their social media platform in such a way that people know that when we talk about, when the names of these people come up, for instance, there is an educator called Kemi Ogusoya. I don't know if you know the person. When you hear Kemi Ogusoya, the first thing that comes to your mind is branding, professional branding. She does that a lot. When you hear Kazim Abolore, when you hear innovative teacher, you talk about how you can make money. When you hear about a lot of them like that. So when your name pop up, what do people take you to be? That's your brand. And of course, there's a way you can do brand evaluation and a lot of that. Number 3, I won't go into details. Number 3 is building core competencies and skill. But most of the time, I'm usually amazed when, of course, in that my school, they put me in charge of recruitment as well. And sometimes I will have a lot of teachers that will come around and they say, and I'll ask them, how much do you think the school do you want the school to pay you? Some of them will say, the school can start paying me 300,000, 400,000. I said, no problem. Let's know. And then, of course, I did some tests and the likes, and I noticed that the skills, the competencies that most people have cannot even guarantee 100,000 pay, talk less of 300,000. Now, the digital skills, I asked what's it called? A lot of skills now, 21st century skills, the presentation skills, collaboration skills, digital skills, communication skills, leadership and management, and so all that. I discussed skills and competencies in some of one of my what's it called. Now, I asked, in all of these 7 21st century skills, how many of it are you excellent? Now, it is important as teachers that to increase your market value, you need to build competencies. To increase your market value, build skills, become skillful, highly skillful, have competencies that distinguish you. That is one of my parlance I usually use, and one of my code that people quote me for. If you are loaded, you will be needed. If you are loaded, you will be needed. If you are loaded, you won't be stranded. I tell teachers, I can never, it is not pride, it is an understanding of the value that I have. It is not pride. I can never be stranded in the teaching profession. As a matter of fact, I have built so much values and skill that attracted a lot of people to me. And those people that have been attracted to me make my network so rich. There was a time I was telling, some of my executives, and we talked. I said, I can plan a global conference in just 2 hours, where I will call for sponsors, I will call for speakers, I will call for what's it called? Why? Because of the skill and the competence that I've built that has attracted so many people to me. Build skills and competencies so that when you get to a particular place, they will say, yes, this person is different. What makes you different from other person? Then another one. Okay, Mr. Ahmed.
Yes,
Please still share.
apologies. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me check for my system here. But you can still share for others to see. Now the next one is increase your visibility. Increase your visibility. Increase your visibility. Now, a lot of teachers, and I found out to be true, a lot of teachers are doing massive work, doing a lot of work, but people do not know because they are not visible. You need to build visibility around social space. And the level of visibility, you have the local level, you have the state level, you have the national level, you have the continental level, and you have the global level. Those are the 5 levels of visibility. The 5 levels of visibility: local, state, national, continental, and global. Now, you need to start building visibility. Some of you, even in your local government, most people do not know you as teacher. No, not know you as teacher now, as excellent teacher. Quote and unquote now. So you start from there. People must know, if when you get to this environment that I am now, and you say Emerald, you hear, that man, that person, you hear a lot of people. Just ask anybody. That is the level of visibility I've built. So in my own case now, I have built up to local, up to state, and then of course I'm building up to national. That's my next target now. Also, you can start from there. Start building from local. Let people know that you are an excellent teacher. Do something that makes you know that you're an excellent teacher. In that environment now that I am, there is no way I will enter into a school. And now, if I don't enter schools, schools are looking for me. Why? Because I have built visibility in that area. And across the state too. If I just say I'm not working with the school I'm currently working, if I have received this end of the term, this July, June, July, I've received a lot of, can you come and work with us? I will tell them I'm in a certain place currently, and I can love you there. I have seen what's it called, almost up to 350, 400, 500,000 naira in Abuja and the likes, and I'm serious. Why? Because I have built visibility. So build your visibility. Let people know what you are doing. So, and of course, start massive work and publicize yourself on the social media. Some of the classroom activities that you do that are excellent, show it on social media. Let people know about it. These are, because there was a time I usually check in our own case of recruiting teachers. One of the things I do is that I will go back. Okay, you say you want to collect 500,000, no problem. I will check your social media. How many audience that are following you? How many things you have done that people know that you have done this, and so on and so forth. Build visibility. Visibility increase your market value. Visibility increase your viability in the space. Okay, now let me quickly talk about the next ones. Build track records of quality teaching. Now, I usually say this: have a record of key things that you have done as a teacher. And if you have not started doing key things like key projects, like key activities, like excellent delivery, sometimes take a time to record your session, your classroom session. Then some of the achievements you have started to have a record of it. Build track records, because it is records that calls for recommendation. Without record, you can't be recommended. Without records, you can't be recommended. So it is important that you start building track record. And the last one, okay, thank you. The last one is upgrade your network. The quality of your network would, of course, damn your network, but more importantly, the quality of your network gives your value a high point. Because the quality of your okay, there was a time I was asking one person that wanted to recruit them, who do you know in the education space? Because one of the things I believe that you are not coming to our school to come and teach alone. you are coming to add value in different areas, and who you know can help us attain a better height as a school. And I was asking him, and the person said, who do I know? I'm just here alone. And I said, this is interesting. So please build networks. Networks gives your value high point. So I won't be able to go far on this. Why? Because it's just a welcome lecture. But as we go on in this professional development webinar, it is important that you learn how to increase your market value. Don't forget two things. Every profession has a market demand, and every professional has a market value. You have a market value. Increase it so you can have high chances of becoming more successful in the education space. Thank you.
Wow, that was a mind-blowing session. Come with power pack. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I want us to put on the chat box a round of applause to our speaker, first speaker for today. I know that you really enjoyed this session. And if you don't mind, you can put on the chat box what are the things that actually come up for you? What are the new things you have learned from this session? You know, he actually talked about the strategic framework to increase on market value. And you know what? One thing about this profession is that, you know, the profession is really power packed. You have professional, it's a professional. It's a profession. I thank you so much for that one.
Muted.
Okay, I think the network of the anchor left or something. His network, I think he will join us back. Mr. Ahmed, okay, I guess his network. Okay, you can let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. I want to quickly help him. Let's keep it coming. Okay, I think the second guest speaker is here. I will make her also a co-host now. I can cite Mrs. Adiola Defemi. You can say hi to us. You can say hi to us.
Can you hear me?
Mr.
Good morning.
Ahmed, are you back?
Good morning.
Okay. Good morning,
Can you hear me? Good morning.
Mr. Ahmed,
It's great to be
thank
here.
you. Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Ahmed, are you back?
Yeah, it seems his network is somewhat fluctuating.
Okay. Let's in a short. Okay. Somebody is asking for the skill that are 7 skills, modern skills that are needed. Don't worry, what's it called? I will drop it in the comment box so that we don't waste time. I will drop in the. Okay. Now, I think the next session, if I'm okay, Ahmed is almost back. He will lead us in the next session. Ahmed, you are welcome back. Mr. Ahmed, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Apologies. The network actually kicked me out. Thank you so much for that lovely presentation. We sincerely appreciate you, sir, for that brief introductory lecture. And I want you to put on the chat box. I don't know if anyone has question. You can put your question on the chat box while our guest speaker answer just 1 or 2 questions, maximum 1-2 questions. And if you want to come off mute, you can raise your hand so that we can allow you to do that. While we are waiting for us to ask questions, I want us to put on the chat box your takeaway from this session. What are takeaways? You know, you actually talked about quite a number of things. As a teacher, if you are loaded, you will be needed. Quite a number of things I jotted down. change your perception as a teacher, build core competence and skills, build track records of quality teaching, among others. Kindly come off mute and ask your question. And if you can't come off mute, you can put on the chat box while I read your question. We are moving straight we have no time again, as our second speaker will be joining us. Joining us by 11. Before then, we'll have another wonderful session that we want to, it's a networking session, and it's going to be very, very brief, and because of our time. Okay, I tell A3 is raising up his hand. You can come off mute and ask a question. Very brief and concise. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good
Can you
morning,
hear
good
me, sir?
morning.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Please, the question I want to ask is, I really didn't hear most of the things our facilitator said. So I don't know if after this meeting, are you going to send to us an audio for us to just sit and listen again?
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, the session.
Yes.
The session
I
is
got
recorded.
it.
So you will get the recorded version. The session is recorded.
Okay. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Man, thank you so much. Any other question? Yes. Any other question?
Okay. Somebody said, sorry, Mr. Ahmed. Someone said,
okay, sir.
The skills, the modern skills and competencies. Let me quickly list them for you. I won't be able to, because of time, I won't be able to talk much on it. Number one is digital skills. Digital skills is high in demand now. As a teacher, you must be fully loaded, equipped with digital skills, ability to integrate technology into your teaching. You must be able to do that now. Number two is your collaborative skill, ability to work with others, using a whole lot of innovations and creativity. That's number one. That's number two. Number three is your presentation skill. Now, I have found out that while a lot of us have been trained to teach, most of us have not been trained to communicate. While we teach, most teachers do not know how to communicate. I find out that, of course, I have statistics to back this up. Maybe I have a course on effective classroom communication. Later on, we'll talk about that one. But it is important that you are able to communicate well. You are able to communicate well. Number four is organization skill. Is it number 4 or number 5 now? Organization skill, ability to be well organized. Organization skill. Number 5 or 6 is evaluation skill, ability to evaluate yourself, your profession, what you do currently, and your students. Evaluation skill, and of course, management skill. These are the skills I believe are really essential for a 21st century teacher. And of course, you must strive hard to be excellent in these skills. So thank you.
All right.
Back
Thank
to
you
the
so
uncle.
much. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Chinwero Infirm has put it on the chat box. You can just take it from there. And I'm seeing quite a number of takeaways.
Hello.
Hello. You have a question?
Yes. Good morning.
Okay, you can. This will be the last question we'll be taking this morning. You can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the first speaker, and actually I've already asked this question, but my question now is that which particular digital skills are you talking about as regards or as compared to educational sector, especially?
Okay, I think I get your point. I get the question. Now, we have a program called the Digital Lab. I think some of the graduates will graduate tomorrow.
Digital type of digital skill that can help.
Can you? Okay. Now, like I've said, we have a lot of digital skills. Now, I usually categorize digital skill into a number of ways. Number one, in terms of preparation, digital lesson preparation, the skills that digital skills that are needed, digital tools that you need to prepare lesson, lesson presentation, and lesson evaluation. I put it into three. For the digital skills and the app that we need. The tools, when we talk about digital skills now, we talk about the tools, the applications, and the skill that are needed. So in preparing for lessons, when you talk about Canva, when you talk about all other apps like that you can use, when you talk about presentation, the Google Slides and everything, and we talk about, and of course the video recording applications and the likes. When you talk about presentation, you look at a Nearpod, you look at Kahoot, you look at Empathico, you look at AI Teacher and the likes. Then of course you have the evaluation, the Google Forms, the Survey Art, and others like that. So a lot of digital tools are available for you across the board to use when you need some of these things. They distinguish you. Less than 20% of the teacher population across the globe are highly skilled, most especially in terms of the African environment that we find ourselves. So we need to start building ourselves. Of course, in our organization, we have the Digital Lab workshop that usually organize is a 1 month workshop that usually organized, and it covers almost 60 digital tools and applications. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I hope the questions has been answered accordingly. Yes, I will be moving straight to the next on the agenda, and which is the networking session. And as I've said earlier, this session is going to be a very great one for us. And you are going to learn quite a number of things from our speakers. Trust me for that. And now, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll be having a networking session. This session is going to be very engaging, where we'll be discussing, we'll be interacting amongst ourselves, and some of us will be coming off mute and share what we do as a teacher. Tell us what you do as a teacher, your name, what you are chatting from, your school, as well as the teaching profession. How has it been for you? While someone is doing that, we like others to also put on the chat box so that everybody can see what we do. From there, we get our contact, and then we interact as soon as possible. So I want one of us to come off mute, maybe 2 to 3 persons to come off mute, share with us what you do, your name, where you are chatting from, the name of your school, and then also how has the profession been for you so far. If you want to talk, let's hear you speak, while others put on the chat box and I read out. Let people see what you are doing. Let the world see what you are doing.
Hello, can you hear? Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
All right, is anybody talking?
I will talk. My name is Omoyemi.
Okay, hear you.
Okay, where are you calling from? Where do you teach? The state you teach, and then how has the profession been for you so far? When did you start? Just tell us a brief about your profession. Thank you.
Okay. I started a few years back. I'm currently at Ikorodu, Lagos State, and I teach at high school, a private school, high school. To be precise. So there I teach English language. I teach English language. Well, the experience for me so far, one that this. However, there have been some downsides to it. It tends to work on because this locality where I reside, they seem to have this perception about teaching kind of low income kind of work. I do something like pricing, I realize that, finally, in fact, I thought like
Hello, is it my network? It's kind of cracking. I don't know if it's my network or we can't really hear you. I want to be sure it's not from my hand. Yes, I guess it's a general issue. All right. I don't know if anyone can also. Oh, yes, it's also cracking. Thank you. I guess it's a general issue. Maybe while you are trying to sort out your network, Rachel Biachi, you can come off mute and share with us your name, state, your school, and the teaching profession. What has it been for you so far? You can go ahead.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mrs. Peter Rachel. I'm from Ogun State. I teach in Ogun State. And I also, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I teach in Ogun State. I am an educator. My experience in the teaching profession has been awesome because looking at the teaching profession, especially 21st century teaching, it requires teachers giving all in all, giving their best to these children. When I look at the children under my care, I find myself thinking of how to make sure that they get better and they do better. It encompasses both their physical, mental, social, every type of development. So in the teaching profession so far, I have come to realize that if you are not empathic, you're not compassionate about the job, at a point you'll get tired of it. You need the zeal, the motivation, the willpower to be able to succeed and win in this profession. Now, looking at the teaching profession, I get my motivations from so many educators online, because especially one of my colleagues, Chisom Chinonso Goso. In fact, this colleague of mine has been on the educational space, and she motivates me when I see the things she does. And it makes me know that I can do more than this. Educators like Ms. Dairo, educators like Ms. Faith Oti, a lot of them, when I see them doing exceptional things in the education space, it makes me realize that there's still a lot more I can do. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Is it
you.
my
We
network?
can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear you.
Okay. It makes me realize that there's still a lot more that we can do. Sometimes in our little educational space, we may think that we have achieved we have gotten to the peak of our careers. Sometimes, especially in a school whereby you are one of the star teachers, you're one of the lead teachers there, you are the one everyone is calling upon, and you feel as if you are one of the best. When you go outside, when you look at the educational space from a global angle, looking at it from social media, from WhatsApp groups, and so on, you find out that even what you are doing is not up to what others are doing. So I get my motivation from other educators. That's what motivates me. Then another thing I also
Right.
put in mind
All right.
is
Thank
well-being
you.
of my
Thank
pupils.
you. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you. Because of our time, we will not
Okay.
be able to go further. Thank you so much. Apologies for cutting you short. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, sir.
I'm also
Thank
seeing. Thank you. Thank you so much. This session is going to continue after our second speaker, and we sincerely want to apologize for that due to our time. We don't want to waste much of our time. And also, after the second lecture, we are going to have this networking ongoing, trust me. And then we want to see everybody. What we do, we can put on the chat box. And we have some vital information that I'll be sharing with us after the second lecture. So make sure you stay on the call to the end. It's going to be a mind-blowing session, trust me. And information is going to, you're really going to enjoy it. Just tune in, stay tuned while we continue the session. On this note, I will be inviting our second speaker, a person of Mrs. Adiola Adefemi. She'll be taking us on building a strong and effective teacher-student relationship. And I will be reading a profile shortly. Apologies for those that are raising their hands. Kindly give us some time. After the next session, we're going to take a few persons. Yes, we're going to take a few persons, and then we give us our information. Before then, let me introduce our speaker, our second speaker for today, in person of Mrs. Adiola Adefemi. Kindly give me some minutes to do that. Kindly give me some minutes.
I think the network has logged the anchor out, I guess. So we will proceed. Let me help him to proceed. I think his network is almost everybody's having the network issue. Let me see if we can see. Okay. This is the profile of Mrs. Adiola Adefemi. Of course, she's my namesake. Now let's go. The official profile of Mrs. Adiola Adefemi. Adiola Adefemi is a highly accomplished public school teacher, renowned for her exceptional contribution to the advancement of quality education and the establishment of safe learning environment. With an illustrious career, Adiola holds esteemed accolades, including being a Fulbright Fellow and a distinguished judge for the Royal Commonwealth Essay Competition. As the founder of Girls Aloud Up, Every Child Counts Club, and the convener of the Secure Your Future campaign, Adiola has consistently demonstrated a commitment to empowering students and fostering their success. A diligent mentorship has resulted in numerous students triumphing in over 150 local and international competitions. Recognized as a multi-award winning educator, Adiola has been honored with the JCI Outstanding Young Person in Nigeria Award, Inspirational Teacher of the Year, and currently holds the esteemed title of overall best teacher in Nigeria. Furthermore, in 2021, she was distinguished as one of the top 50 in the world by the prestigious Global Teachers Prize and has been listed as one of the top 100 changemakers in Nigeria by different agencies. With an insatiable thirst for knowledge, Adeola has earned over 100 international certifications, reflecting her commitment to continuous professional growth and expertise in our field. With a standing ovation, if we can see you, you can on your video, and with a round of applause, let's do well to welcome Adeola Adefemi, the best teacher in Nigeria, as she speaks to you. Let's applaud her as she comes on board. You are welcome, Ms. Adeola.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
I don't know if you can hear me. Good morning.
We're welcome.
Yeah, good morning. It's great to be here. I took off my video too because of network. I don't want to go off at any time. So I don't know if that's okay. Do I put it on back now? But I'm going to take it off again. So probably when I'm done, I'll just show my face. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. You're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So I'll go straight to the point. I'm sorry I'm a bit under the weather, but I'll just...
You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I can hear myself. Let me just try. I don't know if there's an echo. I think it's from someone's phone that's still unmuted. So let me just go straight to the point. When Mr. Odusoya called for this, actually I'm running the program right now, but anything that has to do with students, I'm always very elated. And that was why I said, there's no way I would miss this. So basically I will be explaining or talking about building a strong student-teacher relationship. That's building an effective student-teacher relationship. It's easy for people to, a lot of us wants to win. It's interesting to win, and it's important to do so much. But the truth about the matter is, coming from the fact that I've had the opportunity to be judged both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, I'll tell you the first thing, no matter what you call yourself or whatever you've achieved for yourself, the first thing that will make you or mar you at any panel or in any competition will be what you've done with your students. And there is no way you can have high-flying students or students that are doing very well if you do not have a relationship with those students. I teach in a public school. Maybe that's why I'm very passionate about this, because I don't know if you know the teacher-student ratio. I mean, in my class, I have about 250 students sometimes. Sometimes I have 100. The least I can have is 98 or 100. And it's important, each and every one of the students. Why? Because they will either make or mar you as a person, they will either make or mar you as a teacher, and they will either make you or mar you in whatever you put your hands on when it comes to this profession. So I want us to understand how important this is. A lot of times we don't talk about this. So I want you to have this at the back of your mind when you listen to this. So I'll go straight to the point. Now, this is one thing I've come to do for myself. It's easy for you to get carried away with applause. It is easy for you to get carried away with what you are achieving or have achieved or you're doing. But the question is, if your students were to describe you in one word, just one word, what would it be? And truth be told is, this is very important. I'll tell you why. For example, when I went for the Best Teacher in Nigeria competition, at the third level, at the third stage, they came down to my school. Now, one of the judges, a professor, came down from Abuja to my school, and he went directly to the class. I did not know he was coming that particular time. And it just went directly to random students. It did not give me the avenue to give them students or what have you. And he started questioning them. Who is this teacher? Who is she to you? And believe me, he didn't tell me anything until the last day when the result came out. What he said, my students said, it was so random. I think he even went to, because we have like 4 schools in my complex, even students outside my school, what they said about me. That was when I understood the importance of having a teacher-student or student-teacher relationship. I don't know if you can hear me because I can still hear an echo. Cool. So basically,
Yes,
It
we
is
can hear you.
very important. The interviews were random, not just
Network is not so good, but we can hear you.
Okay, ouch. I hope it's going to get better. It's so important, not even for the local competitions, even for the international. They would tell you to have your students write about you. They interview the students. So the question is, what do this student talk about? How would they describe you in one word? You can do it randomly. You can go to your class, give them a piece of paper, tell them to be very truthful, tell them to tell you 3 things about you they do not like and 3 things about you that they do like. It will make you understand who you are to those students. Are you a great one? Are you the ones they don't even want to see in the class? They will tell you the truth. Tell them not to write their names on the piece of paper. Then the second question is, who is that teacher that's had the greatest impact in your life? It could be your primary school, secondary school teacher, or just basically someone you've been watching or has been mentoring you. What is that thing that they have that you feel you can have to what you're doing? And finally, if you were to grade yourself as a teacher, what would be your percentage? I don't believe you can lie to yourself. You can lie to everybody, but it's very difficult for you to lie to yourself. If you can have the answers to this question, I think you'll be able to define who you are as a teacher. And that is the most important thing when it comes to this relationship, because it is first about you, then about the student, and then the relationship, the marrying the two together. So let me go to the next slide. So basically, I said I'll be very fast, just 40 minutes. At the end of this lesson, we'll be stating the importance of building a strong student-teacher relationship. 2, we'll be able to list and explain the strategies to build an effective student-teacher relationship. And finally, state the importance of harnessing students' potential. So let me start again. What type of teacher are you? And this, if you look at this, there are so many things. I'm trying to rush through this, right? There's so many things that come. There are some that are very big, which are the important ones, and then the smaller ones. If you notice, effective teaching is the most important thing, because while you're a teacher, if you're not effective, then you see that the relationship, the engagement, the critical thinking, the relevance, these are slightly smaller than effective teaching, but about the same size, right? And then we have the other parts. So it's easy for us to get carried away. You know, we go for trainings. I see a lot of teachers going for trainings. Oh, I want to get myself equipped. But the question is, after all this equipment, after all this trainings, after everything, what happens in your classroom? That is what defines you as a teacher. How can you bring this into the classroom? Does it even change your classroom? Because it's easy for you to get carried away, but the most important factor in the classroom are your students. They're not just people in uniform, they're human beings. There are people that will go into their various corners to change the world. You know that the fastest way to change the world is via education. So if you're not making the right changes, if you're not changing the world in your classroom by the students, then there's a big problem. So you can keep going for your trainings, you can keep going for, they are very important. But the most important thing is when your child, your students, I call them children sometimes, most times anyway, when they want to define you, how do they define you? In the next 20 years, in the next 15 years, would you have changed or impacted their lives and to impact the world? Or you just went for the training to fulfill all righteousness? I think that's the most important thing. It's great to have the 21st century skills. It's great to have all this, but are you intentional? Are you deliberate in your usage in classroom? Or you're doing it to satisfy your principal, your proprietor, your proprietress? Or it's because you genuinely want this change for your students? So I'll go to the 5 types of teachers. And, you know, the truth is you can be the combination. I'm sorry, there's like an echo, like someone's still talking. So it's kind of distracting, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna just briefly talk about those 5 types of teachers because you need to know yourself before you enter the classroom. The first type of teacher is Mama Bear, like that friendly, that homely teacher, that teacher that every student wants to go and tell their problems to. Now, you can be 1, you can be 2, you can be 3, you can be a combination of 3, and you can just be 1. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you know yourself and how you want to use it. So I'm going to start from the Mama Bear, which is what I am. You know, are you the teacher that every child wants to tell you that problem? I do tell my colleagues that the fastest way to get a student to do even what they feel they can do is to know that, to make them know that they can trust you. You know, I teach in a school. For those of you that don't know Ileko, my school is a peculiar area. Like we're surrounded with one of the biggest markets in Nigeria and in Lagos, Nigeria. We're surrounded with one of the biggest markets in Nigeria, and even the biggest refuse dump, one of the biggest refuse dumps. So it's a whole lot. My students barely speak in English. Trust me when I tell you, they barely communicate in English. I literally go to the market. I go to their various houses. I go to the refuse dump where some of them live to see where they live, to talk to them. And if I tell you, no matter the competition, with their bad grammar, with their bad background, knowing fully well there's nothing to look up to, the only way you can beat my students is when they want you to beat them, or there is something beyond them. Because the relationship they have with me, they tell me, Auntie, it's not just about us. Yes, we want to win for us, but you've done so much for us. So are you the mama bear? Are you the one that actually cares about the students? Is it, oh, you just see a student that is dirty and the next thing you start condemning the students? Oh, why are you so dirty? You don't want to know why? Are you the one that embarrasses the students? You're not a mama bear, and they will never tell you what is happening in their lives. I have students come up to me to tell me, oh, somebody's molesting me or harassing me. It's easy for them because even things they can't tell their parents, they tell me, so their parents come through me to understand their kids. The fastest way to get kids, students, to do what you want them to do is for you to genuinely care about them and then show it. Now, to make it very fast, number 2 is, are you a silent wizard? This is also part of who I am. I'm someone that I'm not very comfortable with. I have social anxiety. So there are so many things I know, but I'm not in your face. If you don't ask me, I won't tell you. You can pass beside me and you think, oh, Wishy, I barely talk. I go for programs, but I barely, only when they call me to come and speak, it is okay. And students actually like them. Why? This kind of teachers, why? Because, they know so much and they're not in your face. So they're not overwhelmed by what you are or whatever. So it's easy for my students not to look at me as, oh, best teacher in Nigeria. Oh, it's right now. They just see me as a friend. Now, the child one is the alpha. Of course, who are those people? They are the people that have everything. I mean, they know everything. They're there. Anything you want, they're there. You don't when they say someone is alpha and omega, like they're literally holding the school down. It's also very important because people like this, they've gone for lots of trainings. They know everything about education. It's important. And the fourth one is the techie. The techie is the one you want to meet for your lesson planning. Is the one you want to meet for your assessment. They know what to do. They explain everything to you as well. They're almost similar, the third and fourth. And finally, the free spirit. Who is the free spirit? They're the ones that can come down to the level of the child. That can come down to the level of a child and tell them, oh, we are the same, we're together, we can do this together. So the child can literally not feel overwhelmed or feel scared to express themselves even when they're not too good. Oh, somebody's saying my voice is too low. I don't know, is my voice too low? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
We can hear you there. Very
Okay.
clearly.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. That's the first spirit. Now, who are you can combine everything. Everybody is important. These types of teachers are all important. But if you want to get the best or have the best relationship, I have students that I taught 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and they're my very, very good friends. You need to see my phone. People tell me I don't pick calls already because I'm always on call. I'm always talking to them. Like I follow up on them. Not all of them, because there are so many, but then I try to check up on them. And it's not just in the classroom, beyond the classroom. So you can have everything, but if you want the best kind of relationship with the student, you need to be a mama bear, you need to be a, what's it called, free spirit, and then maybe one of the three in the middle. But for your student to love you, for your student to want to go over and beyond for you and for themselves, you need to be either mama bear or free spirit, because that's when they get calm enough to express themselves. Don't be an authority. Yes, you are the one in charge of your class, but let them feel that you're partners in learning. You're not just the one controlling the learning. They're your partner. It's a partnership thing. They'll give you the best. So because of time, now these are the students in your class. At least before you can have a relationship, if it's a business, you need to understand your partners. These are your partners in class. We have the introverts. The students barely talk, in class. They're always withdrawn, but they are let me tell you one thing. As a teacher, when people come to my class, like, you have an SS1 class, SS2, I teach SS3 or 2 sometimes. And then teachers come and say, oh, use this child. She's very good. Use this one. He's very good. I really don't want to hear that. Everybody is good. And the truth about the matter, I would tell you that most of the students have won. When I say 150, that's just a round figure. It's beyond that. Most of the students have won these competitions through me. are students that people feel they do not talk, so they're not expressive enough. These ones know a lot, but there are so many things holding them back. Trust me, it could be family problems, it could be anything. They know so much. So don't just come into the class and feel, oh, because this child is not talking, I don't have the time. You need to know every child in your class. They barely talk, but when they talk, they need to be very comfortable with you before they can talk. We have the unprepared. These ones are never ready, no notes, no nothing. So it's easy, there's some that are very lazy, but you need to understand there are some that is beyond them. You need to know where they come from to understand why they're like that. And then we have the attention cravers, the attention seekers that are in your face. They could be very annoying sometimes, but you need to know how to manage them. They could be looking for that attention, not because they want to, but because they've been deprived of that attention at home. So you see them raising their hands, auntie, mama, whatever it is. They just want you to love them, notice them. So you need to know how to manage them as well. And then we have the intimidator. They know all. Before your class, they are prepared. Before your class, they know everything. So they are ready to, come. And it could be very frustrating if you don't know how to manage your temper, because they may take over your class. Now, all these kids are very important, and to get the best from all these kids, when it comes to grouping for assessment, grouping for assignment, grouping for classwork, make sure you pick one out of every of this group to make a group. Don't pick all the introverts and put them in one group. Don't put all the unprepared in one group. Pick what. That's why you need to know them. So when you're grouping them, don't just do random grouping. And trust me, the fastest way to help or have a child have the best results is to let them collaborate. When they collaborate with this kind of combination, you'll be shocked at the results. You'll be very shocked at the results. So let me go to the next one. Now, why do you want to build this effective student-teacher relationship? Number one, enhance learning outcomes. The truth about the matter is, no matter how you want to be the best teacher, if your results are not good, if the result of the school is not good, there's no way you want to prove yourself. So for this, excuse me, when it comes to this effective student-teacher relationship, the fastest way to get the results, be it academic results or co-curricular results, it is through this partnership, this relationship. I remember the last time they came down to my school. When I first got to the school, the percentage was 28%, I think 22, 28%, if I'm not mistaken. And then no matter how many times, because I never really wanted to go for any best teacher or anything, but then they kept pushing me. So the first time I was chased back, that was at the district level. Second time, too, the same thing. My students were doing very well, co-curricular, extracurricular activities. But when it came down to the results, WAEC and NECO, they weren't doing very well. And that was when I started taking my time to know every child in my class. The fastest way to get the best results is this relationship. Number two, your students will be able to talk more in class. It's easy for you to keep calling one particular student because this is the active one, this is the one that is in your face. But those quiet ones, there's a way you can get to them. Why? Because you understand their temperament. So you know how to be particular about picking them. You don't want to embarrass them. At the same time, you want them to be involved. So it's going to increase your student engagement because you understand your students. Number two, your students will have a positive classroom culture. Your class, they're going to have a positive classroom culture. Everybody will be free in your class. You need to enter my class to understand what I'm saying. Like, you need to be in my classroom to understand what I'm saying. Everybody is free. There is no clique. There is no, we are the brilliant ones. Everybody is the same. Because the truth about the matter is the kind of education system we're running in Nigeria, we have a frog in the classroom. We have a bird in the classroom. We also have a fish in the classroom. And you want them to run the same race. How is that going to happen when we're running on the ground? But this student know that they can do whatever it is. Like, I know students in my class are very comfortable when it comes to learning that, whatever you teach them, make it a song, make it rap. So I know how to engage all of them. So there's a positive classroom culture. My students are my best friends. I have best friends, so I'm closer to my students much more than my best friends. Now, the first one is development of self-belief. Trust me, you need to see the level of confidence these kids can have when you have this kind of relationship with them. My students will never, you can't tell my students they're not good enough. They can't speak the English, even the few of them, but they're getting better, right? But even when they're talking to you, they look at you and tell you, I'm better off than you are. So they've already intimidated you, not because of pride, but because they know who they are. The teacher has told them who they are. And they're telling them, even when they go back to their community, they're telling them that, see, you cannot undermine me again. I'm powerful. So it's easy for them to win in their heads, because when you win in your head, you won in real life. That is what this kind of relationship does to you. Then it's the behavior management. Let's talk about that one. I don't use a cane. I don't hold cane to class. My students are not goats. I teach 250 in a classroom. Even if you give me 1,000 to teach, my students will not disturb my class. And I would teach my, what was this thing called? Inspectors come and they're saying, oh, it's always 100%. That's what they put in my file every time. Why is this? Because I know them. I understand. They're my friends. Friends don't hurt each other. Friends are nice to each other or one another. So they don't want to hurt me because I have a relationship with them. Sometimes children can be recalcitrant. But then looking at them, they're like, auntie, my friend, they stop. The chart to the last one is reduced dropout rate. For those of us in the public sector, we know what I'm talking about. Now, because you are following up on them, they do not want to leave the school. Like I said, I will go to the market. I have students that take drugs. The environment is not even encouraging. I have children that are, they have kids, they have dropped out, people that are raped and all that. But I follow up on them. So the truth about the matter is, when they want to run away from school, they have to run back. One of my students that did the same thing, she left the school. I followed up on her to the point that before she left the school, she won 15 competitions. And now when she's talking, everything she talks about is, if not for my teacher, if not for my teacher, if not for my teacher. Most of them are in schools outside Nigeria, just same bad kids that people call bad kids. Now, increased motivation, I think that's clear enough not to waste your time, and then long-lasting impacts. Trust me, the joy of every teacher is seeing your kids in future doing so well. If I tell you what these kids have achieved, we have those that have the best results in Nigeria, 9A1s, and doing so well. They're on scholarship within Nigeria, outside Nigeria. I post them often. And that's the joy of every teacher. Trust me, whenever I put all this down, in every competition I go for, the first thing they tell me, especially when it's outside Nigeria, you love your students. It's so obvious. You love those kids. And I feel that's what has been helping me. Trust me. So how can I build a better student-teacher relationship? We're almost done about that. Number one, you need to recognize your individual student needs, their backgrounds and learning styles. Trust me, if it has to do with, some of us will say, I don't know how to memorize names. You need to. If you don't know their names, if you don't know what they like, if you don't know what they can do, they cannot like you. We can't be calling Diola every time, or Tunde every time. And there's one Chiamaka, and there's one, they feel you don't care about them, so they don't give you the best. So if you want a good relationship, number one, you need to understand their needs, understand their backgrounds. I'll tell you my students' first name, second name, third name, where they live, their mother's name, their mother's profession, their father's profession. I have all their numbers on my phone. Like I with my 1,000 students every year, I can tell you everything about them. It takes a lot. You need to understand their learning styles. I'm not here to teach differentiation, but most of us know what this is. This is how it helps. Then number two, you need to practice empathy. Empathy is not just is not the issue. Even the Bible is clear about that. Don't just ask them what the problem is and then you leave it at You need to ask, okay, how can I come in? It takes a lot of sacrifice, but trust me, when you start benefiting or getting from the sacrifices, you understand why you did this in the first place. So you need to be able to be empathetic and then help them beyond the area. If it has to do, I tell you, sometimes you are paying their fees, you are paying this thing, you are feeding them in the morning. You need to see my office. Most times I just put food there because this one will come, I'm hungry, that one will come, I'm hungry. So it's beyond that. I'm sorry. Give them what they want. Not that everything, you can't do everything, but the one you can do, help them. And then listen to them very well. Understand where they're coming from. They are not dumb. They are very, very smart. In fact, maybe they can't speak good English. For those of us in private schools, you're lucky you have them speaking good English, but listen to them. There's a difference between listening to react and listening to understand. Don't listen to react, listen to understand them. They'll give you the best. And finally, make sure your class, it will help your class become welcoming and inclusive, even for students that are not from your class, from your school. Everybody wants to be in your classroom. So I'll just move around this. Remember, every child that steps into your class has a talent, has a gift, has a prospect. I'm looking at my life right now. I was a very brilliant child, but nobody understood that I was more of a creative child than an academic child. And they kept frustrating me until one teacher, though she didn't teach me, but she mentored me, changed my life. So nobody in your class is empty. No child in your class is olodo. Don't give them names that they do not, that is not theirs. It is just that we have a system that doesn't favor them. there is something in that child. Your job is to find it. And you can read this. I don't want to talk too much about this. If your student know you like them, trust me, they will do everything in the power to help you become the best version of yourself. So but this is a major one. What are the strategies? Number one, like I said, you need to know your students' names. It is not difficult. If you're intentional, keep asking them every time. Ask them. Sometimes their first name may be difficult, but their second name will not be difficult. Sometimes their surname will be something very striking. So make sure you know their names. If you know that the joy, try it one day and mention like 50 of them. Make sure you call their names and you see the reaction. Excuse me. Know their interests. I've said this before, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Know their background, know their stories. Know their stories. It's important you know their stories. They have stories that would touch you. They have stories that will make you want to change. All the projects I have done that has brought me this far came from the stories of my students. I've had students that would tell me, we in my culture or where I come from, you cannot speak. You can only be seen. That was what propelled me to donate half of all I got when I traveled to build a hub or to get a hub. So know the stories of the students. You would be empathetic and you want to change. And trust me, it is this change that will lead to the leadership that you showcase when you go for all these competitions. It's a win-win. You cannot lose with this. It's a win-win situation. No teacher will become the best teacher if you do not have a change you've made, if you don't have a project you want to use to define yourself. If you say you're a teacher, everybody's a teacher. What makes you different? Oh, I did this. I was a leader. Leadership, passion, sacrifice. Number two, recognize their needs. I've said this before, and learning style. And number three, practice empathy and active listening. Not, they know when you're not listening to them. The second part is effective communication. Communication is a two-way street. So don't just be the speaker, be the listener. Listen to the said and the unsaid. If a child, we are teachers, especially the females. There's something about most of us, we're nurturers. You know when a child is not saying everything. So you have to bring that child outside the classroom, know what is happening. Two, provide feedback and counseling. You're a counselor. Tell them stories. Don't lie to them. Not everybody. We were not all first. We didn't take first position when we were in school. You don't have to lie. If you were the child, if you repeated, tell them, I didn't gain admission immediately after school. I didn't repeat in school, but I repeated outside school. So whenever I tell my students, they're like, wow, Auntie, yeah, this is good. Yes. I failed. You may just be seeing the success story, but the failure is there. But you don't see it as failure. It's just either you win or you learn. Let them know. Number three, listen to understand. I've said this before. And finally, this is the most important, be their gist partner. Like, let them know that they can talk to you about anything at all. Talk to them like you're talking to your friends. Do you understand? And then finally, the parent-teacher partnership. You can't do anything without the parents. The parents are very important in this mix. My student can be with me till 12. What am I saying? Till 11 p.m. The parents should not look for them. Once they call, Mama, are they with you? I say yes. They're like free. They're always very comfortable. So communicate with those parents, involve them. Sometimes they're very difficult parents. I've almost been slapped, beaten by parents, but then I had to take my time to understand them too. Share that progress, even if it's not something big. Let them know that your kids are trying. They're almost there, but they're trying. Collaborate with them, and always be for both sides. Don't be for just the child. So let the child see from the perspective of the parents. Let the parents see from the perspective of the child. Trust me, the combination of those three has brought me this far. Like, I don't do so much. Trust me, I don't do so. All I tell them is, if you feel that I'm lying or you feel that what I'm saying is not true, can you call these people? And by the time they're calling them, looking at what they've achieved for themselves, you've won that competition. You've done so well for yourself. So finally, this is the final part. Perfecting the relationship by harnessing their potentials. Like I said, every child in your class has something. It is your job to find it. The school will not find it for you. The school is just based on academics most of the time. It is your job to find that thing that child can do. In your classroom, not everybody has 100 or 70 or 80, but when it comes to other activities, we have kids in the classroom that they cannot memorize, not a fault of them. They have a learning disability. I have a learning disability, so I know what I'm saying. Like, there are kids in your class that they can't write well, not because they don't want to write well. So if you flog them, their hands, it can't just hold that pen well. Some of them have dysgraphia, they have ADD, they have ADHD. They cannot sit still. So it's not like they want to scatter your class. It's just because they can't sit still. Something is wrong. So how do you want to perfect this? How do you want to get the best from them? How do you want to see the best from them, even when the school is not showing you the love that you need? Number one, you need to observe. I don't know how easy it is for everybody, but you need to learn how to observe. Watch these kids when they're playing, walking on the corridor. The girl that won the Lagos State Schools debate, she was not active in class. She was very quiet in class, she could be very annoying sometimes, but I wasn't even teaching her. I was just passing on the corridor and I saw and I told her there's something about you. If it's the training, I will take my time, but you see, there's something about you. She didn't believe in herself until she won. So the truth is, you need to learn how to observe. Observe these kids. You would see something in them that it's always very glaring sometimes. Sometimes it's coded, but take your time to observe. Then number two, assess them. How do you want to assess them? If you're in the classroom, you can, I don't know what you're teaching. If you're teaching biology, you're teaching English, you can like have different questions on grammar, questions on sounds, questions on this, on that, and check those kids. Don't assume, don't let teachers tell you, this child is not good. No. Check for yourself. All the students, I repeat, not even one, all the students that have won essay competition with me were not there. I'm sorry, from their teachers, they were the worst essay students. They were very bad, probably good at maths, good at other subjects, but with English, But when you question them, when you test them, you'll be surprised that they were not showing that side because they were not comfortable with that teacher. So test all of them. If it has to do with taking them downstairs and then auditioning all of them, tell them, okay, you do your best. I'll use this one to cut you. From 200, you'll be reduced to 40. Don't assume that, on the basis of this child's results, it's not about result. There's a level, there's a space for intelligence, there's a space for brilliance, and a space for creativity and the combination of the three. So question them. Now, how do you want to develop after you've realized the skills, like you found them, you know them? How do you want them to be the best? What I do and what has helped me. Number one thing I do is I am a role model. Trust me when I say, there is a competition. I don't like going for competitions. There are some that they give to you, you don't have to go. But there are some that you have to go from stage 1 to stage 2, stage 3. So they know I don't know. I don't like it, right? So they tell me, Auntie, you're telling us to do this, but you're not doing it. So I go for these competitions. If I lose, which I don't call losing anyway, it's learning. I tell them I've lost, and they tell me we'll do better. So let them see you as someone they can look up to. Let them see you as someone that can actually do what you're telling them to do, and then they feel very comfortable to try that luck too. So if you ask many of them, they'll say, Auntie is my role model. Mama is they call me Mama anyway. She's my role model. Then you need to inspire them. Inspiration doesn't mean perfection. Inspiration is trying, winning, learning, and still coming back strong. Then enable them. I'm almost done now. Enable them. Let them be themselves. It's not easy. We tend to compare. I do it sometimes and I'm like, I'm sorry. I apologize very fast. I'm like, I talked bad about you yesterday. I compared you yesterday. I'm so sorry. Enable them. Let them see. Let them be comfortable in your classroom. Let them be comfortable in your corner. Enable them. And finally, let them be able to achieve at their own pace. Some of them, I train students for nothing less than 1 year. Before you can go out with me for any competition, you have to have used 1 year with me. I train them after school every day, sometimes over the weekends. I've reduced it over the weekends now because of family, but I train them every day till 6. Every day, only if I'm not in school. Even with all the engagement I have, sometimes I come back to school, right, to train them. So if you have not used 1 year with me, so it's easy for me to take a child that's been trained for over a year, and then you're bringing a child that's been trained for just 1 day, and how do you want to beat them? I don't know if you get what I mean. So all this put together will help you develop the child's potentials. So how do I do this? How do I do this? Number one, I do grouping. I've talked a little about this. What do I mean? For those after I've like auditioned them, we've gotten to almost the last stage. So maybe there are now 16 left. For example, I want to do for essay competition, or for, I'm talking as an English teacher right now, or for debating, or for drama, or what have you. I will first audition all of them. Audition could be screening until I have like 20 left. So those 20 are the ones I'll start training them every day with other teachers. You can collaborate with other teachers. Not everybody will like what you're doing. Some people will like it, but you're overwhelming them. But but you will still see one or two that will be interested. Even your old students can come back to mentor. So you now start, we basically, after the grouping, we start with the training. Now I group the debaters together. So they are friends and they're also competitors. So they know they're going up against one another, but they're also friends. So they train one another, like spelling bee. If you have seen Aquila and the bee, we have something similar to that. Then the cautery learning. Have one of every kind of child in a group and make sure they account for one another. So they could do WhatsApp, it could be visitation, but you need to be very careful because boys can take advantage, girls can take advantage. So what I do is I make them family members. That's your family member. All of you are part of the family. Even if you are five, check on one another. Then the third one is mental coaching. I think this is clear. I mean, it's beyond the academics now. Every day you're tasking them. You could use chess if you know how to play chess. You could use Scrabble. You could use riddles, because it's not about being brilliant. It's about being intelligent, and it's about being fast when it comes to all getting the best from a child. Then source for opportunities for them. That's what I do. I have groups for them. So whenever I see this opportunity, I just send it to them, because it's not, trust me, not all of them will go to school, like complete their education. Not all of them will get get into a school system after the school, because in public school, after secondary school, it's not free again, right? But one thing that remains is some will want to go to school. So we have competitions. I mean, we have scholarship opportunities. I source them, I put them into groups, and I give it to them. So they just start training for the scholarships, and they do well. And finally, we are ready for whatever it is that we want to, whatever the competition. So when you call, I like, please, you're going for this competition, or please, you're going for this, you're going for that. We are ready. We don't even do so much. What I just do is, if there are 20 still left or 6 still left, I just make them compete against one another, maybe like 2 days before the competition, and the best goes, because we're already ready. So it's not like we're coming to do, it's not pride. It's just that they're mentally ready. They've done this over and over. They're mentally ready. So finally, I think this is the final slide. Make sure you focus as a teacher to have the best relationship. Focus on we, not I. Don't say I feel. It says we are going to do this and we're going to win. We are going to do this and we're going to win. And when you fail, accept full responsibility. Don't be embarrassed to say sorry. Like I say sorry, thank you, all the time. I'm sorry I insulted you. It wasn't planned. It just fell off. Kids can be kids could be kids, right? Take full responsibility. Always do the right thing. Don't be found in a place where they'll say, but you said we shouldn't do this, you're doing this. Always do the right thing. Be a visionary. They're going to key into your vision. When they know you're a visionary, they will key into the vision with you. So whatever you're achieving, they're doing twice of that. Then be passionate about winning. Yeah, it's not a do or die affair, but it's good to win. Winning changes your perspective. Winning changes everything about you. So be passionate about the win. Let them know that, okay, we are going in this to win. But if you don't win, it's fine. But they know, this is our mentality. Number 6 is keep a positive attitude, no matter the matter. What's that song? Always keep a positive attitude. Even if I'm dying inside, even if they lose, whatever my students do, when they do, I have students that have come to tell me, I had a student that came to tell me, Auntie, I'm pregnant. This is a child I've trained for so long. I did not scream my head off. Because your attitude is going to go a long way. So whatever it is that is happening, keep that positive attitude. Build that relationship. Don't lie to them. Students know when you're pretending. They know when you're lying. Do not lie to them. Be composed during tough times. I mean, times where they lose, times where they repeat the class they're in. Be composed. Let them know that that's not the end of life. So it's that composure that they're going to key into. They know that whatever happens, auntie has our back, uncle has our back, Momo has our back. So just be composed at all times. Listen to all the teachers. That's where networking comes in, and celebrate their progress, no matter how small. I think that's about this. These are my students. That's a hope there. These are my students. I was observing there. So basically, that's the end. Thank you very much. I would have given you something to do, but obviously this is a virtual class. It may be a bit difficult. So let me take my leave, right? Or let me stop here so I can listen to your questions if there's any at all. Thank you.
Is Mr. Ahmed, are you there? Is
All
Ahmed
right.
there?
Wow, that's a wonderful presentation. Thank you, sir. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm here.
Yes, we can barely hear you, but
Yes,
we are
I'm
hearing.
here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you. Move on, please. I think Ahmed is really fighting network this. Okay, please, if you have question, you can put it on the comment box. If you have question, put it for the on the comment box. Put it on the comment box, and then if you want to ask, if you want to ask, probably you can what's it called? Put up your hand so we can recognize you. You can put up your hand so we can recognize you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Your network is, we can't hear you very well. Your network is bad. Your network is bad. Okay, so if you have question, please put it on the, do we have anybody with question?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay, Rachel has a question. Miss Ademuwagun has a question. Okay, because of time, we only take maximum of 3.
If
maximum of 2. Okay. Right. Friday, Musa. Okay, 3 persons. Now, others, please kindly put your question in the comment box. Others, we will take more than this, please. We will take more than this. Okay. Rachel, you can start with your question.
Thank you so much, Ma, for the just concluded teaching. I'm indeed grateful. I learned a lot. My question is that I have a pupil in my class, a particular girl. She does not do her assignments, no matter how much I try to engage her. She's always this type that she will never do assignments. Even when I call the parents, I beg on her behalf to please assist and all that, she will never do it. So sometimes I even call her to my table in the morning so that she can do it before the class starts. How can one teach her to take responsibility for taxes given to her? Because the mother said I should flog. I've told the mom that beating is not the solution to everything. Do you think that there is something wrong why this girl is not performing? So please, Ma, can you please throw more insight on what I can do to help the student? Thank you.
Okay, let me quickly answer that.
Okay.
All right. It could be two things, right? It could be problems at home. I don't know the class. I think you said primary school. I'm not so sure if it's a primary school or something. It could be problems at home. There's something about you being physically in the classroom and then being mentally in the classroom. So if you're bringing in something from outside, like the environment, when I say environment, it could be from where she's coming from, the inside, a house and outside, affecting her. Because if you're saying something over and over, a child will still do it once or twice just to avoid being criticized or, so it could be like something at home that is really not helping out, putting out or making her be mentally prepared to be a part of that class. Then number 2, it could just be like a learning problem for her. Maybe she has something, like how will I put it, maybe easily distracted. It could be so many things. So the only thing I can tell you, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose or tell you anything beyond that. But I can tell you one thing: try to make friends with that child. Try to make friends, even if it's during break. Have conversations. Like come to a level, I don't know at age, I don't know what, just get to a level, make friends with that child. If you get to a point, the child starts thinking like, and auntie is my friend. If I do this, she'll not be, because obviously when she does it again after then, there's a way, looking at your face, you'll be like, oh, I've offended her. She's not my friend. She doesn't want to be my friend. That's the way children think. They feel when they do something wrong, it removes something from them. So it's not like you're the one withdrawing. She'll just feel like, oh, I don't want to offend this person. And it creates a way like, oh, to help her learn 1 or 2 ways of not offending you. So she will definitely do assignments. She may not do it every time because, of course, she's just learning. But gradually, when she does it, the way you praise her, make sure the motivation is even almost more than the assignment. Don't I feel motivated? You know, the way you probably talk to her when she does it once, I'm pretty much sure she's not going to want to not do it again. Then finally, you need to have a talk with the parents. Let them know that it's beyond punishment or what have you. You need to have a real talk with the parents. And if it has to do with maybe sitting with her after school sometimes to help her do 1 or 2, then it's a start. But it's not going to change in a day. It's going to take a while. I don't know if I answered your question.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Let's have Ms. Ademu Wagun. You can ask your question now. Are you there? Ademu Wagun, are you there? I think she's not there yet. Okay, let's have Friday Musa. Friday Musa, you can ask your question.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Hello,
Good
can
morning.
everyone hear me?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, actually, I've sent my question through the chat, but let me repeat it here. I just want to know the magic wand she has been applying in respect to students who are always disruptive, who are unruly, which in most cases get teacher to their wits' end. So as a professional and as a distinguished one at that, what has been the approach that has always worked for her so that we can also practice it? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question. So let me say this. I've become what they are, but I don't turn to what they are. So let me say that again. I become what they are.
What they
but
are.
I don't. Yes, I don't become. Yes, I
are.
don't turn to what they are. So, like, you're in Rome, behave like a Roman. Naturally, I teach English, so I'm always speaking in English. Now, these kids, right, that disrupt my class, they're always speaking Yoruba, Pidgin, Hausa, whatever. So I speak with them, and they have this terrible slangs. I learned all the slangs, so I talk to them in a language they understand. And you know what I do? I don't drop, like I drop the car. I walk with them. So when they're going home, I walk with them on the street. So we're talking about everything about life. We're talking about the streets. We're talking about the bad things. Sometimes they feel that, oh, auntie too knows what is going on now. So they talk about everything to me. So you are looking at this big rough guy, and I'm the only lady amongst them. They're like 10. We talk in office. We're using Yoruba to talk about stuff. The next thing, I'll just throw 1 or 2 of what I want them to do. They'll be like, no, the reply, because they've already established that rapport with you, they will do it once. And then, like I said, the way I hail the students, the hailings are always over the board. So like, so me, I can answer questions like that, and I give them responsibilities in class. You want to be a noisemaker? I'll make you the class captain of that class. I'll make sure you're the one collecting the notes. I'll make sure you're the one, I'll make you a group leader. And I would tell you that if you do this, this is what you get. If you don't do this, you know now. So with that, truth be told, the kids you see more around me are kids that when you see them on the street, you're scared. Now they're changing. Okay. Some of them have changed. Some of them are still in the process. I don't know if you get what I mean. Because it's like you have street credibility.
Gradually.
That's what I call it. It's gradually. It's like you have their street credibility. You speak their language. Language now doesn't have to do with the English or Yoruba. Language could be maybe the slangs and all that. You speak, they know that you understand them. So gradually, it's going to take a while, but they will leave that thing they're doing just because you are now their friend. And then you
get. Do you find yourself tempted to spanking them?
No, I don't spank. They know I don't spank. That's one thing I'm not used to it. I talk. One thing I do, I can talk. And because they don't want the long talk or the long lecture, and they tell me that anytime I talk, it makes them feel bad. So they just So like I said, that street cred is very important. I walk the street with them. I go to where they live. I dirty my leg. So all of us are together. So they in their even their friends will be like, okay, this is your auntie. We want to get to know her so that we too can be. Of course, they want to be good kids too. They want to align with somebody that is successful. So I think it's a gradual one and they'll get there.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. The last person is Madam Wagon. Is she there? Okay. If she's not there, let me just pick one or two questions from the one question is here. I'm an early year teacher and my pupils are within the age of 3 years. Talking about discipline, how do you discipline such kids? Ms. Adiola, do you get the point?
I got the question, but this gonna I'm not an expert when it comes to child primary school teaching. I think there are different ways. It's kind of different from the adults, like the teenagers I teach. But one thing I know is for a 3-year-old child that needs discipline, it's more of I think that's hard. Like for they're just learning. A 3-year-old child is just learning, and learning is more by example. Is what they see, they want to try out. Only if there's something extremely wrong with that child. I mean, maybe character or behavioral issues. But for a 3-year-old that needs discipline, I think that's a tough one for a 3-year-old, because I'm looking at 3-year-olds around me and I'm thinking they don't even know they're just learning. So it's more of you trying to model things for them. Let them, when they're wrong, stop that. I don't know, when they're right, make them feel good. When they're wrong, let them know that what they did is wrong. But discipline, I think that would be extreme. But I don't know, like I said, I'm not an expert. But for a 3-year-old child, it's just like the table, it's like a canvas. They don't really know what is right from what is wrong. So it's for you to just try to let them know what is wrong, let them know what is right, but not discipline. I think that's too much. I don't know. I could be wrong though.
Okay, that's it. I remove Matthew. I love the boy doesn't do assignment. The worst is his mother. We call you and we tell you that she's sorry that his boy doesn't do his assignment. Please, how can I help the child alongside with the parent? One person is asking one question here. A child do not do assignment, and the mother will also be calling to say sorry, the boy didn't do the assignment. She is asking how she can help both the boy and the parent.
Okay, thank you. This will be about the last question because I have another program now, but let me just rush through this one. I think I stated this in one of the slides. This teacher needs a personal relationship with the parents, not just one parent, all the parents. Some schools have parent forum, some have PTAs and all that. You need to constantly have conversations with this mother and let them know the end results. Let them know what this child stands to enjoy, because at the end of the day, when they know that their child is not doing what is meant to be done, or they know this child will not enjoy certain things, probably that you are giving to the other child. When I say giving right now, it could be maybe extra trainings and all that. So everybody likes freebies, like parents love freebies. So when they know that, if your child keeps doing this, I can't give that child this thing. I'm not collecting money for it. I'm doing it for my own good heart and all that. So establish that relationship with that mother. Call them regularly. Sorry for using Yoruba. I just said because I use Yoruba with all of them, or Igbo or Edo. I just want to check on you. Are you fine? So when the mother knows, or the father knows, or the mother knows that, you have this relationship with them, they will want to do more with the child because they will be like, I don't want to lose this relationship with this person. So it boils down to having a relationship with them. It may not be all of them, but at least the majority of them. And one thing I do again is there are some parents that are very vocal. They have this leadership skills in them. When I'm very close to that one, it's going to extend the friendship I have with that one vocal parent is going to extend to other parents. So while letting this one know, she's going to tell the others that, this teacher is doing like this. And they listen to one another. Mother, they even listen to you. So when you can establish like a rapport with 1 or 2 or 3 of them that are quite vocal, that are very engaging, you may be extending to the whole class. That's what I do. I prepare myself before it happens. So I'm already friends with them. So it's definitely not going to happen. Once I call them, your child didn't do this, the way they rush down or even try to do, because they don't want to offend me. They know I do these things for free and I do it from the heart, from my heart. So they don't want to offend me. So I think I have to run along now because I'm almost missing what I want to do.
Yes, she has to go. She mentioned it the other time. So please, what we are going to do is
Sorry, I'm going to cut you short. I'm sorry for cutting you short. I just want to answer one more. This person has been repeating this question. So let me just answer this last one before I leave. For the person asking that, how can I be a best teacher? This teacher award, this person, I know it's not part of what it is about, but this is the end result. Like all those trainings you're having, the end result is for you to also achieve something for yourself. So it's not just to build the children's dream, but yourself. This is the only thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to say once. When it comes to applying for teachers award, it's not like you're going there wham bam sad. No, you need to be prepared, offline and online. What do I mean? There are 4 major things. I've said this before in other trainings I've had. There are 4 major things to look out for. Number 1 is your leadership traits. So like I said, even in this state, if you have not done anything, if you have not changed anything in your school, around you, and not just your school, make sure it's a community. When I say community, I'm not saying the whole community. It could be 2 schools, because 2 schools make a community. If you have not changed something, there is no way you can win many of these awards, because that's the first thing they want to know. You are a teacher, okay, what have you done? What makes you a leader? Leaders, teachers, there are 2 things that they have a place where they meet. So they want to know what you've done. So that's why you can start talking about the changes you made. So don't be a complainer. Number 2 is make sure that proud to, you have evidence. Keep your evidence, like your pieces of evidence. Keep everything. Be ready. That's why I said online and offline. Make sure you have an album, like a career album that is physical. I don't take pictures. I really don't like it, but I had to learn the hard way, because they'll tell you it's not true. What's your evidence? And have a very, very strong, social media platform, especially on LinkedIn and Instagram, because these are the easiest to see things well. On Facebook, your other messages can drop those things down. But with Instagram, once they see the interface, it's easy for them to see what you're doing. So because sometimes they'll tell you to attach your handles, right? And then your sacrifices. Like I said, they want to know what makes you a special teacher. Your sacrifices, make sure you're not doing it because you want to win their awards. Make sure you're doing it because you actually care. There are some competitions, they'll ask the students, they'll ask your teachers, they'll ask your admins and that. And then learn how to collaborate. Networking. There are so many things you can achieve with people in your corner. You have people in your circle of influence. They are the ones that will help you. I have most of my friends that are in different states, but when I have a problem, I'm not very vocal when it comes. I speak. I love to speak. I'm very confident, but I do not like to plan. So you need to have someone that what you don't have, your weakness is somebody's strength, your strength is somebody's weakness. So have people in your corner, network with people, and most especially your projects. Don't joke with your projects. Projects requires sacrifice, it requires money, it requires human and financial sacrifices, right? But the truth is, have a project. It could be 1, it could be 2 that you did that is visible for them to see when it comes to your corner. And then you can now think of applying. Trust me, you may get rejected, but it takes 1 year to cancel all the no's when you get it. But just keep applying for anything you see. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so very much, Ma, for that concise presentation and for answering our question. I don't know if you can hear me now. I want to be sure I'm not talking to myself. To be sure. Hello. Please, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, I think we have lost him again. His network is extremely bad, I guess. Okay. He was supposed to continue with the networking session, but I guess he will do it during the afternoon session, unless he's back. I will do it during the afternoon session. Okay, so the afternoon session, we'll be having another 2 guest speakers. But before we go, it is important that we take attendance. Like we have said, it's only people that attend that we are going to give the certificate. So I'm going to drop a link now. So I'm dropping a link now. I hope all of us can see the link. I hope all of us can see the link. Please make sure you.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, click on that link now and click on that link now and go put down your names there and answer all the questions that are there. We want to be sure that you attended the session. So go and do that. Now quickly, we want to quickly end this latest before the next 20, 30, in next 15 minutes, 20 minutes thereabout. We want to finish. So we'll quickly do this part of the networking session. And of course, like we have said, you have to improve your circle. It's very, very important. Your circle is important. It's one of the reasons why we are doing the networking session. And one of the things we are going to encourage is that on that platform, make sure you connect with you as much as possible. Now, if you want to tell us about yourself and you want people to network with you, you can kindly put up your hand now. Kindly put up your hand. You want to talk about yourself, and then even right from this platform, you can start networking as well. So if you want us to know about you, and of course, we have just 2 or 3 persons in the afternoon. We have another set of people. If you want to talk about yourself, I think some persons wanted to do so before. Okay, number one, I'm just giving 2 or 3 persons, please, because of time. We want to manage the time well. Okay, 1 person. Who else again? We like people to know about you, and then of course what you do, and of course people can want people to also collaborate. You want to collaborate with people. Do we have just only 1 person? Okay, then for some of us, we can do this. We can put it in the comment box. I know some of us don't want to talk. Some people are not confident enough to want to talk. So let's have others put it in the comment box. While Jawad, please, we would like you can on your video so people can see you, and then they know. Okay, thank you. We want people to see you. Okay, let's have you tell us about yourself, and if you want people to connect with you and others can be doing that in the chat box. Over to you, Jawad. Can we have you, Jawad? Okay, Adeyemi Abayomi, that's number 2. Okay, let's have you. Thank you.
My name is Jawad Olayemi from Osun State. I'm currently serving in Oyo State. So I am a graduate teaching assistant in Emmanuel Alayonde College of Education, now University of Education. Well, I can just say this is my first time coming to the field to practicalize what I have known in the teaching profession. Though over time, I've been actually working with children because I'm an early childhood expert, but this will be my first time teaching people at that kind of, at that level of education. I'm also a researcher, a data analyst. To be precise, I use IBM SPSS to answer research questions and analyze research hypotheses. So I think, I love teaching, probably because I love imparting in people. I love teaching what I know, telling people, and seriously, I really love the teaching, and I think everything is good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jawad. Thank you, Jawad. Now let's have Abayomi. You can drop your contact, and now people can reach out to you. Let's have Abayomi as well. Oh, interesting. That's Jawad. Interesting.
Good
Okay,
afternoon, everybody.
Okay, good afternoon.
I believe everybody can hear me. My name is Adeyemi Abayomi. I'm an educator. I've been teaching for the past 20 years. I'm an IT expert, so I'm used a lot of IT devices when it comes to the 21st century. And I also train a lot of teachers on how to make use of the Zoom application, using the whiteboard, making use of Google Classroom, and other tech applications that can facilitate teaching. As I said, I've worked in several schools, and some of the schools that I've worked with, I'm based in Lagos. So all through, for the past 15 years, I've taught in different private schools before gaining into the government sector. Currently now, I'm working with Lagos State in government school. Actually, I'm working in an IT environment because in public schools, we have what is called the ICT Center, which I currently takes the primary school student. I teach them a lot of coding and also different applications on how to use them, because based on just by what we all know that most of these primary school students are not really used with the 21st century, like the use of computer systems and other things. But with what I have acquired so far, I've been able to impart the knowledge on how to, their typing skills have been developed, and which has brought about change in their cognitive domain, because I realized that most of them are not familiar with most of the computer systems that we have, more or less like the private schools that I've taught before, that before saying something, the learners already tells you, okay, this is what you mean, so this is what we need to do. And most of them are familiar with computer because some of them have even have a laptop at home that they use. So, and with this, I've been able to train a lot of teachers and other things that I've also do. I built websites and I train them on how to also make use of different coding application, using Scratch, using Microsoft to build on their own, just to improve them in every area of life and to make them more valuable. I've been able to collaborate with my colleagues because I also have some teachers that we collaborate with in order to ensure that these students achieved what they need to know at their early stage, which has helped them to improve greatly in life. So as an educator, at least I have a lot of networks, people that I network with, and I also need more rooms to build more network, to facilitate more teachers, and also enlighten them on how to make their classroom a better place for the student. Because as an educator, we realize that what the children do, what they see and they participate more on, helps them to retain more memory, helps them to acquire more knowledge, and they are easily remembered that during the examination period, we have a lot of labs that different teachers can use in order to help their teaching.
Okay, Mr. Abayomi, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. You can drop your social media handles and other things so people can follow you. Let's try. I want us to connect with as many people as possible. And then, of course, on our social media platforms, you can take a screenshot of this program, and then, of course, put it on your social media platform. Some of the things that you have learning, hashtag professional development webinar, hashtag Emerald Edu Concept and Services, and the like. So let people know what you are doing and what you have learning from this webinar and the like. So let's talk about it. Now, quickly, before we go, because we have to leave before 12:30 so that we can come back in the afternoon. Few information for us. For those of us that are in Lagos, although we are going to put the form on the group, for those of us that are in Lagos, we are having the workshop for Lagos teachers on August 31. And the workshop is going to focus on 21st century teaching methods, classroom management, and strategies and leadership. And then we are going to also focus on some
21st century tools for teachers that will be using. So of course, we are going to be having some guests among us that will come around. So please, for those that are in Lagos, August 31, we usually do it every year. For those that are in Abuja, we'll be coming to Abuja on September 7. September 7 is the Abuja edition. And then, of course, the Ekiti edition is September 5. So we'll be going to 3 states this year. We've seen a lot of people say we should come to their state. Of course, if you want us to come to your state, you can reach out to me. If you want us to come to your state, of course, it's going to be a paid. It's going to be a paid. So reach out to me. It's going to be a paid. Okay, somebody is saying Ogun State. It's going to be a paid program, but it's highly impactful, extremely impactful. The places that we have gone, people are left with being empowered, mightily empowered. You see some of us live, and then we are going to be impacting you. So if you want us to come to your state, let us know. We can fix it. We have August and part of September to do the state tour. We selected those 3 because some teachers reached out to us that we can organize that kind of workshop in their state. And then, of course, ability to mobilize a lot of people around. Okay, so that's number 1. So you can reach out to me for your state. Then if you're in Lagos, we'll drop the link. Make sure you are part of the it's happening in Yaba. The address will be led. You know about the address once you register. And then secondly, I do this every year for teachers. During the holiday, I usually organize what is called Holiday Challenge for Teachers. Holiday Challenge for Teachers. And for that Holiday Challenge, it's always August 1 to August 31. Every single day, we usually do something that will empower you from personal development to professional development to classroom transformation. And then I bring mentors. This year, God willing, I'll be bringing 6 mentors. Number 1 is Keisha Top. Keisha Top is the Global Teacher Prize winner 2021. She's one of my mentors. I'll be bringing Akim Subal. Akim Subal is the founder of 1 Million Teacher, and she's an expert educator. Adiola Adefemi will also be coming around. Mrs. Fola Shade will also be coming around. The Commissioner for Education, Lagos State, will also be coming around. During those mentorship programs, you just have an interaction, a free interaction with them. They are highly accomplished educators, and they want to share their knowledge and experience with you, how they were able to navigate and the like. So every year I've done it free, but this year, because some people take advantage of it, and this year I'm just allowed people will register for 2,000 naira. We'll allow people to register for 2,000 naira. And it's going to be day 1. During that day 1 to 31, we'll be dropping every single day voice notes and quotes and powerful motivation that we'll be doing challenge every single day. Do this, do that. We'll be having workbooks to work with and the like. So you can also join. You can join everything there to your professional development, and of course, some of our courses that we create, how to increase your market value. If you want to increase your market value, if you want to stand out, and you want to see this new session we're about to start. You want to get great employment. You want to be employed, and of course, we'll tell you what to do and how to go about it. So in the afternoon, God willing, we are going to be having 2 powerful educators. Number 1 is the best teacher primary school session in Lagos State, Mrs. Folashade Fauzat. She'll be coming around to teach us on how to inculcate culture in the class. She became global. She became global in a global educator in a BBC documentary where she lectured. She did a video, and the video went viral. And from there, she became a star teacher. So she will be around today, God willing. Our Facebook page, Teacher Chade, has been engaging thousands upon thousands of people.
And then the second person we'll be having this evening will be the Martina Teacher of the Year 2022, Mr. Alaku Ayiwulu. Mr. Alaku will also be here. He has done massive work in the education space. I know you don't want to miss the afternoon session. Make sure you are hashtagging people on Facebook and other social media platform. You can share the link for registration to people so that it can be added. We want as much teachers to be around as possible. So make sure you are sharing the link so that others can also benefit. By the grace of God, the recorded session, we are supposed to live stream it, but the network was bad. We would have live streamed it on YouTube, but the recorded session will be made available. And then, of course, it's going to be on our YouTube platform as well and some other social media platforms. So all this information we are giving about our courses, our programs, and the likes, we will let you know. Make sure that you register with the links, the surveyor, so that we can get the certificate. We are not going to get certificate if there is no proof that you attended this session. If you do not register, please make sure you do that, please. We don't want a situation where we are going to have issues. So thank you so much for today's session. Like I've said, make sure you network with as many educators on that platform as possible. Improve your network today, grow your network, and make sure you share the links with others. So until afternoon, I would like to meet with you. Thank you and have a lovely afternoon. See you by exactly 5 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thanks for today.
Thank you.